Welcome to Kemet 101. I'm here today at the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum. The world has been awaiting the opening of this museum for several years. As a matter of fact, this museum is about a little bit over 20 years in the making. As you can see, it's about 1.5 miles from the Great Pyramid there. But this is a major event for the people of the world who are interested in ancient Egyptian history and culture. It took a team effort from all over the world to get this museum to where it is today. So today I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a brief tour of the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum. Before you enter the museum, there's going to be a brief security check. After the security check, you'll go here to the facade of the museum, and just over to your left is the ticket center and also the information center. There's some bathrooms here. There you will hand over your ticket, and over here to the left is the museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is now the largest archaeological museum in the world. Has over, well, when it's complete here, which it will be soon, it'll have over 5,000 pieces in its collection related to King Tut. With the building of this museum, they envisioned something grand from the very beginning. There were thousands of applications or models presented for the contract to build this museum. And as I mentioned earlier, it took a team to bring this to fruition. A Japanese bank, the Egyptian government, and also donors from all over the world. And this is going to be more than just a store of artifacts. They have some really forward-thinking technology that'll go along with the building of this museum. So this is going to be also like an information center, a training center as well. So we're excited about the opening of this museum, and we know moving forward, I mean, for those of us who are interested in the history of ancient Egyptian history and culture, you know, this museum is gonna offer a lot. When you walk in the museum, your eyes will likely go to the gigantic carving that is attributed to Ramses II. If you are going to partake in the tour, over to the left is where you acquire your little sound system. Now, the guide will give the tour that I've joined in English. This statue was built for Ramses II. The size is astonishing. The guide told me that to bring this here from Memphis, that there were several trial runs to make sure that the size and the weight wouldn't be a problem and that it wouldn't be broken or damaged in any way. And after several trials, they brought it here. But when you walk in to this atrium, your eyes go right to this gigantic statue of Ramses II. And Ramses definitely left his imprint throughout history, or on history, right? Because he's one of the people that we talk about the most, but not only because of his efforts to build statues and leave things behind like Abu Simbel, but he was also impactful and had like over 100 children and won several battles. This imagery is in the atrium of the museum. And what you see, there are various popular temples and pyramids in Egypt. So what this shows is it shows where they are, beginning at the beginning of the Nile in Egypt. There's the Abu Simbel Temple, Philae Temple, Kum Ambo, etc. Edfu Temple of Heru. So this is very useful, even if you're going to visit the rest of Egypt, or if you're only going to visit the museums in Cairo and the pyramids. This is useful. For certain, the pharaonic builders, they had an idea that these statues and such that they created would last for a long time. I don't think they'd be surprised that they lasted for thousands of years. But what about a common everyday person, a common everyday Egyptian who may have used something like this, a vase? They could have used it to transport water, store food, or whatever. Now, I'll bet, like these instruments, I'll bet they had no idea that 5,000, 6,000, however long it's been since pharaonic Egypt, however long it's been, I'm sure they never imagined that we'd be looking at their instruments and their pottery. When it comes to jewelry, I like the style of the ancient Egyptians. When you come to this museum, you're gonna see some of the most beautiful jewelry, a lot of which is really simple. Ancient Egyptians, they took their wigs and their hair very seriously. Fancy wigs were worn by both sexes. The long length and natural style of this wig, made from twisted and plaited human hair, suggests it was for a woman. This statue is more than likely Senwarset III. Big chance it may be Amenemhet IV. But for all of you Kemetologists, Egyptologists at home, come on to the museum. I mean, and kind of make sense of it for yourself. And I heard a lot of things from the guide that it led to all types of questions. But clearly, you can see Egyptology. It's our ancient Egyptian history, however you want to put it, is not an exact science. I'm always going to call for a little bit of speculation. I thought the tour was pretty good. Our tour guide, Gina, thought she did a good job. She mentioned that there were about 120,000 artifacts in the other museum, and she just said that it was just overflowing with things, which it is. If you ever go to the Civilization Museum, you will see that, as well as the National Museum. So what I'm going to do now is just come here, check out by turning my little sound device in. You get it here when you come in, but you'll need to give them an ID or a passport or something like that. But all in all, it was a wonderful experience, and I think anybody who's interested in just culture, especially ancient culture, and I think Kemet, ancient Egypt, the most influential culture in human history that God even mentioned when she was talking about Ptah, how the Oscar award looks like Ptah. One of the universities in my city, Houston, when you are driving in from one particular direction from the highway, it has two obelisks outside. You'll see countless things that kind of are an ode to ancient Egypt, impacted by ancient Egypt. And you can come here to Egypt and you'll be able to go to the village, go down south to Aswan. You'll be able to meet many people who still have that same blood strand, those same DNA strands in their blood. And also, I would mention right by the pyramids is a village, Saman, something like that. It means pigeon. And that place, you'll talk to 20 different Egyptologists and get 40 different opinions, which I think is one of the wonderful things about studying ancient Egypt. Is so much of this nobody knows for sure. Just come to Egypt and visit the pyramids, this wonderful new museum when it opens in December. Delve into the world of ancient Egypt, and I think you will find it very rewarding. Right at the entrance A gigantic book about Ramses statues, scarabs. Write your own hieroglyphics. Okay, so this is something, I guess I'll have to get this. Is Mrs. Tensor, a female entrepreneur in ancient Egypt. So I like this. I'm interested in entrepreneurship, and I know ancient Egypt was big on ethics in business. Here it is. There's something else. Doing business in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian medicine. Arabic background and heritage. Here you are. Grand hotels of ancient Egypt for those of you who have a huge budget. Tut. Man. Frankly, I wish Howard Carter hadn't even discovered the man's tomb. Who wants that tomb dug up, right? But nonetheless, so a wonderful store. Right, so considerable progress has been made on the gem, the Grand Egyptian Museum. 12 galleries are open. The King Tut Gallery is soon to be open, but they don't have an exact date. That's going to have over 5,000 pieces related to King Tut. So that's to me, that's good and bad. Like I said, the whole digging up tombs, putting humans on display that were dug up, I just can't get with that. That's just not something, ideally, not a way that you want to treat your ancestors. But nonetheless, that exhibit is on the way. This museum is, like I said, it is quite amazing. The artifacts that you're going to see, the insight that you're going to get into ancient Egyptian history and culture, the hair pieces, the jewelry, the combs and picks that they use for the hair, the interplay between people in the earthly realm and the Neteru, we loosely defined as God, and then their relationship with the Almighty God, be it Ptah, Amen, Aten, whoever. All of that will become clear if you're able to come to this museum and take your time. Now, if you're only able to see one museum, I would say go to the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. But most people, if they only have a little bit of time, they're going to go to the pyramids. The pyramids, according to Google, the pyramids saw 14.7 million people last year, and the pace of tourism is greater now, greater than it's been since 2008. So we're probably going to see more than 15 million people at the Giza Plateau this year. And this is 1.2 miles away from the Giza Plateau. This is essentially nowhere from the Giza Plateau. The only thing that'll take a little bit of time is there's a causeway here, and you have to kind of go around to make it to the entrance. But this museum, the largest archaeological museum in the world, thousands of artifacts, like 100,000 artifacts related to Egypt. The largest collection related to King Tut in the world when that opens. So I would say this is definitely a trip you want to make. Now, an Egyptian asked me, is it worth it? The price to go to this museum? Heck yeah. As a tourist would pay a little bit over £1,000, a little bit over £1,000 to make it to the museum, to come in. For an Egyptian, it's only 200 pounds. So that's next to nothing to see one of the greatest museums dedicated to the most influential civilization in human history. So it's definitely something you want to experience. They have some wonderful stores here. You can see that jewelry, so nice, so beautiful and elegant. But it has the scarab, the Kemet scarab. And maybe that's made with, I want to say turquoise. I have to ask. Turquoise?
Yes, it's turquoise.
Okay, so he said that the Kemet scarab that I just showed you, he said it's made with turquoise. Look at this. Are you excited about the museum opening?
Yes.
I'm very excited.
Thank you.
So I know that is turquoise, and I believe is that a
Lotus.
lotus flower?
Yes.
Okay, so lotus flower, 18K?
18, yes.
Yeah, so it's 18K. If you in the United States, you know that we almost always have 14K, but here in Egypt, they almost always have 18K. If they will make 14 for you, but you have to get them to make it for you. And so this place has some really nice scarabs. Kemet, and there Kemet is again, but with the turquoise beads. Okay, so he said the name of the stone, Gordon, but I think it must be something distinct to Egypt, or maybe it's a different name in English. This stone looks like onyx. Wow, ladies, you have to. I tell you what, my suggestion. I am here now. My suggestion would be to come to the grand opening of this museum. I know it's going to be lots of people, but can you just imagine the energy that it's going to have when they open this grand museum? And I think it's going to. Well, they said later this year, so probably. I won't say when. I don't know, but I know it's going to be this year. Look at that. Can you imagine wearing this in your gown, ladies?
Yes, it's eyes. Eye.
Oh, see, something I didn't notice. That is the eye. That is an eye on each of these. What would something like this cost?
Sorry.
Price.
Price? For a necklace?
Huh?
Oh, a necklace?
Yes.
Yes.
He's gonna tell me so you can kind of have a reference. But the thing about it, like these.
In Egyptian pound or dollar?
Okay, dollar.
Dollar?
Uh-huh.
It's for.
Okay, so he said this necklace is 3,300 American. So this is 18K with excellent craftsmanship. And I think the store next door, they said all of their designs were original. So I imagine that, these are weren't not made by a machine. Right? Not made by machine.
Sorry?
Made by hand.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at this. This is unbelievable. This shop, I came here, it only has bags for women. But the gentleman, he was just telling me that it has, said it's gold plated. You can hardly tell, but if you see it in person, this is some unbelievable things. Goodness gracious. And not very expensive. Look at that. That's unbelievable. This stuff is so gorgeous. I think original. Well, oh, here's a smaller one.
Yes, it's a micro one.
Okay. 10,000, 15?
It's 14,
Huh?
14,000.
Wow, so this one is only 14,000. So just divide that by 50. 4 USD. Ah, ah,
It's a card holder.
for woman.
Yes.
Uh,
For the card holder, I think the card holder can wait. We can use the black one.
for man.
Nakhla, the other brand. It's a jewelry.
Ah, okay, I got it. So there's some beautiful, really beautiful. What is the name of this?
Octane.
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 Okay, so the name of this store? Octane. So ladies.
They are two sisters, okay?
Oh.
Aya and Nat, they made the brand.
One brand. This store is one brand.
No, there's another branches in Arkan, if you know Arkan Plaza and Capital Business Park. And there is another one on Marasi.
But one company,
Yes,
two ladies,
yes.
sisters,
Two sisters.
Egyptian.
Yes.
That is okay.
You know, Fiancé with our brand, we're Octane, Fiancé and Gigi Hadid. There is another celebrities wearing our bags and our designs.
Okay, so he said DJ Khaled and Beyonce are wearing these things, but of course, because it's beautiful, it's not very expensive, and not a lot of people know about it. It's still not very popular. But I'm gonna go back to this. That is gorgeous. This is a handbag. This place is amazing. Here's Starbucks. Starbucks is universal, you can see. And I truly mean universal, probably a Starbucks on other planets.